إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله ثم أما بعد للذين أحسنوا الحسنى وزيادة ولا يرهق وجوههم قتر ولا ذلة. For those who have ihsan, which is the highest level of faith, which is spreading good, not limiting to yourself but passing it to other people. The reward for those people is al-husna, and al-husna is al-jannah, wa ziyada, plus. What's the plus? The scholar said, seeing and looking at the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is that it? No. وَلَا يَرْهَقُ وُجُوهَهُمْ قَطَرٌ وَلَا ذِلَّةٌ. Their face will be enlightened, it will not be darkened. And they will be honored, not humiliated. So the faces will not be darkened, and it will not be humiliated. I'll give you an example of humiliation. You do something wrong, and you get caught. Look how ugly your face would look. You do something so shameful, and you get caught. Look at the humiliation that you feel. That's an example. Those people who do good will never feel that. On the other hand, وَالَّذِينَ كَسَبُوا السَّيِّئَاتِ, those who earned the bad deeds, because they earned it, because they committed it. جَزَاءُ سَيِّئَةٍ بِمِثْلِهَا, 1 for 1. And it means the punishment of that sin. This is al-mushakala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used that method in the Quran. It sounds like evil deed, you deal with an evil deed. It's not an evil deed. This is just to make it similar. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in many ayat, وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ. They deceived, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we can't say He deceived, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't deceive. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ruined their deceit. Those who earn the evil deed, they will get punished for it. Is that it? No. وَتَرْحَقُهُمْ ذِلَّةٌ. And humiliation will encompass them. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَتَرَاهُمْ يُعْرَضُونَ عَلَيْهَا خَاشِعِينَ مِنَ الذُّلِّ. You see the disbelievers, the wrongdoers, presented to the hellfire, totally humiliated, totally humbled from humiliation, not from anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَتَرْهَقُهُمْ ذِلَّةٌ مَا لَهُمْ مِنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ عَاصِمٍ. No one can protect them, no one can save them, no one can remove that humiliation off of them. And look at the extra description. كأنما أغشيت وجوههم قطعا من الليل مظلمة. I want you to picture night, a very dark night, no stars, no moons, no lights whatsoever. And how dark? This is how their faces would look simply because of this humiliation. Look at the wasf, the description. كَأَنَّمَا أُغْشِيَتْ, covered. Their faces, pieces of a very dark night, just dressed up over their faces. Now when you talk about light and dark, the day of judgment, don't misunderstand that this is color-wise. A white person and a black person, this would look on them the same description. Because when you talk about darkness out of humiliation, that is evident on a white person or a dark person. And you can see that. You can look at a very white person whose face looked dark because of the sin. And you can look at a black person and his face looked like the moon, even though his skin is still dark. So this is something that we can relate, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, in Surah Ali Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَوْمَ تَبْيَضُّ وُجُوهُ وَتَسْوَدُّ وُجُوهُ. A day that when some faces will be so bright and some faces so dark. You still have the colors and the difference, but the honor makes the white and the black look beautiful and light and enlightened. And the humiliation makes the white and the black look humiliated and dark. What do we conclude from this? You know, when you grow up in righteousness, ihsan, two things become so important to you. Al-karame wal-izza. Honor or dignity and pride. Your honor, your dignity, your pride become very important. It's like, you know, someone is, you become very sensitive to those things. There are something so special. You find a very honorable person, righteous person, he would not like for his wife to walk outside and somebody see her without hijab or without anything. He would not like for his daughter, for anyone to look at her. That is too much. Cannot take it, because this is my honor. Why? Faith and ihsan makes you elevate with those two things. And those two things come to you because they say, الذلة أساسها الإساءة. Humility, the essence of it or the cause of it is evil deeds. وَالْعِزَّةُ وَالْكَرَامَةُ أَسَاسُهَا الْإِحْسَانِ. And dignity and honor and pride, the essence of it is being muhsin. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves muhsin. Allah yuhibbul muhsinin. وَأَحْسِنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Do good because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to do good. But look at the beauty of the ayah. لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَى. أحسنوا فعل وفاعل. Where is the مفعول به? A verb, a subject. أحسنوا has a verb and a subject. Where is the object? أحسنوا what? Did good what? They prayed, they helped, they told the truth? No. The scholar said, إذا حذف المفعول به أطلق الفعل. If you eliminate the object, then the action is general. So any ihsan you do, this is the reward for it. So you can be muhsin to your friend, to your wife, to your children, to a stranger, to even animals, and this reward will come to you. لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا الْحُسْنَى وَزِيَادَةً وَلَا يَرْهَقُ وُجُوهَهُمْ خَتَرٌ وَلَا ذِلَّةٌ. Brothers, the real honor is the day of judgment when you receive your book in your right hand. And for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from hellfire. That is the real honor. And when you look at the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you cannot get to that unless you go through this life with honor and dignity. And you cannot get the honor and the dignity unless you are muhsin. You do good. You don't limit yourself. That's what I always talk about when we do fundraising. I always say that. Standing and praying your sunnah, you're not muhsin. No way. Because you're blocking good. And you're benefiting yourself only. No one benefits from your salah except you. But when I get your money and I build a school or I build a masjid or I do something good, I'm helping so many people. So this is more valuable in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than your extra sunnah. At the same time, you're not going to miss your sunnah. You see that even if you miss your sunnah, what you did is better. You stand, you see someone here talking and the other one, Allahu Akbar, in his face. Now he cannot see people, he cannot talk to people, he cannot deal to people, and you think, mashallah, mashallah, you're taking care of your sunnah. No. How do you know the difference of this? Knowledge. Knowledge. When you start to understand the value of knowledge and the value of sunnah and the value of fard and the value of helping people and the value of doing good to yourself and the value of doing good with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing it with the people, doing it with both. When you start to understand the difference between all of that, then you start to choose, what should I do, pray or read Quran? I feel like praying, but I also feel like reading Quran. So which one is it? Oh, if I pray, Allah loves it more because it includes the Quran. I can read the Quran in it. And when I put my head on the ground, that's the closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the prayer. So I get up and pray. People who don't understand, can you imagine for every letter 10 hasanat? Can you imagine how many letters you read Quran? Definitely reading a page of Quran is better than 2 rak'ah prayer. Wrong. Because you did not know the value of the salah versus that. And shaitan plays with those people. You know, these good people. But the shaitan plays with those people because when he cannot make you sin, he will make sure that you get the least rewards. He doesn't want you to go in Firdaus. He will settle that you go to the bottom level of heaven because he cannot get you to hell. So he says, at least he's not that successful. That's the shaitan. He's your enemy. He will not let you slide with anything beneficial to you, but because he's preventing you from something more beneficial. So make sure you know your enemy and you know your religion, so you know how to pick and choose when you have two things to do, which one to go. Should I go listen to a lecture? Or should I sit at home and listen to a lecture? The Sheikh at home is much better. Google, you can select the right Sheikh you want. The most knowledgeable. Maybe the Sheikh of the universe at that time, and listen to his lecture. You say, hey, he's more knowledgeable than Sheikh Hasan or Sheikh Abdul Salam or anyone. Why should I bother? We say, wrong. Because your starting the car is not free, your gas is not free, your time is not free, your hardship is not free, your dua to enter the masjid is not free, your exit is not free, your smiles are not free, your handshake is not free, your reflection is not free, sacrifice the things at home is not free, the people around you, you're dealing with them is not free. What happened to all of this? That's why some people focus. I come to the prayer because Masjid Salah prayer in Jama'ah is 27. That's it. This is 27. This is just to attract people who don't understand the other values. But this is one of many values. I was talking to one child, it was my son. You know, I told him, he entered the car, and I said, why don't you say Assalamu alaikum? Yes, I know I was with you just a minute ago. What do you lose? 10 hasanat. They said, can you imagine the day of judgment you need 1 hasanah? 1 hasanah to go to Jannah. And 1 hasanah will put you in hell. You know what that means? He said, what? And I said, break down Assalamu alaikum to 10 parts. This is what you're missing to go to Jannah. And this is what you're missing that puts you in hell. 1/10 of Assalamu alaikum, because Assalamu alaikum, the whole thing is 10 hasanah. All you need is 1 hasanah. You see how you reflect on those things? The same thing when you do sins. Don't say this is a little sin. How little is little? This little puts you in hell if you need it. And you don't, if you have it extra on the good things. That's why people don't reflect in this mentality. They just say, oh, just a sin, just one word, or just one act, or just one tune, or just one this and just one that. Habibi, فَمَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. The most sensitive, the jewelers? You think that scale they have is sensitive? Wait until you see the scale of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know the atom that has protons and electrons and all of that? Break those and find, you weigh those. They will be weighed. They will have weight. And this little tiny weight can make the criteria or the criterion to take you to heaven or to hell if you need it. When you think this way, no little sin is too little and no little deed is too little. That's why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La tahqiranna min al-ma'ruf shay'an." Don't belittle any righteous deed. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from those who are muhsineen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from the hellfire, admit us to Jannah. بارك الله فيكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك. السلام عليكم.